You will be surprised why the wolf defends the cow. The pregnant cow broke into a forest, but unfortunately was caught by a hunter. Just as the hunter was preparing to shoot, a fierce wild wolf suddenly appeared, and the hunter immediately ran away. The wild wolf successfully protected the cow and the child in its belly. Pedro lives on a farm with his parents and grandparents. He likes farm life and even does most of the housework, especially taking care of the animals on the farm. Pedro gets along well with these animals, and the animals also like him very much. They always surround Pedro and listen to him well. Pedro's grandfather called this a kind of superpower, and no one can communicate with animals like Pedro. That's why Pedro's grandfather entrusted him with the most important thing on the farm, namely taking care of pregnant cows. This cow had become very unstable since she conceived her baby, often losing her temper at other animals and sometimes even keeping humans away from her. In order for the cow to obtain sufficient nutrition, the breeder had to carefully put the food into the rice trough, but this irascible cow often upset the food, which made the breeder very helpless. The keeper told Pedro's grandfather about the matter and hoped he could come up with a solution. The grandfather thought for a moment and decided to let Pedro, who was able to talk to animals, give it a try. So the grandfather told Pedro the story, but Pedro agreed without even thinking about it. He was confident he could pacify the cow. Pedro came to the cow pen and found the cow lying on the ground looking unhappy. In order for the cows to trust him, Pedro did not go directly at first, but stood quietly a meter away from the fence, hoping to get the cows to notice him. However, the cow only glanced at Pedro lightly and made no response, still lying there. Pedro didn't expect this method to work, so he took a step forward and tried to communicate with the cow. However, Pedro spoke, the cow never responded to him. Pedro was puzzled, and he thought the cow seemed to have something on her mind. Looking at the glum cow, Pedro realized that perhaps the cow missed her family. On the farm, there's a regulation that pregnant animals should be fed separately. It's believed that this will not only better protect them and the children in their bellies, but also facilitate the ingestion of sufficient nutrients by pregnant animals. The keepers will prepare food for these pregnant mothers individually. Every day, this rule has been in effect on the farm for many years and has been going smoothly. But by the cows, everything seems to have changed. To cheer the cow up, Pedro plans to take it out to find family. The cattle on the farm move freely on the grassland during the day, and only at night will they be driven into the cattle pen. Pedro opened the fence and led the cow to the grassland. When the cow saw the others not far away, it immediately became very excited and quickly ran towards them. Looking at the excited cow, Pedro knew that his judgment was correct and he was relieved a lot. Pedro decided to prepare food for the cow and come back to pick it up later, but to his surprise, the cow ran away and lost. Upon learning the news, Pedro immediately took someone to the vicinity of the farm to look for it. There are many mountains and forests around the farm, and many wild animals live here. People worry that the cow will be attacked by large wild animals, which will not only threaten the cow's life, but also affect the baby in its belly. At one time, the situation becomes very critical. The public's judgment was correct. The cow did indeed run into the forest, but for the cow, it was not so much a dangerous experience as a wonderful encounter. The cow didn't want to return to the life of human restraint, as it took advantage of Pedro's absence and snuck into the forest. It looked at the dense vegetation around it and listened to the cries of various animals. The cow felt lightness and freedom it hadn't seen for a long time. It ran heartily through the forest, unaware that it had come a long way. At this moment, the cow heard the sound of water from a distance. It thought there should be a small stream here. Just as it happened, the cow was also tired. It planned to go to the stream to rest for a while and replenish water. The cow successfully found the stream and gulped down the sweet water. Little did it know that danger was creeping closer. A hunter was wandering around in the forest, hoping to capture as many animals as possible before sunset in order to make more money. As he walked, he suddenly saw a cow drinking water not far away. He wondered why the cow appeared here. The hunter carefully observed the cow and noticed a special mark on its body. He immediately realized it was a cow from a nearby farm, and the cow should have snuck out on its own. However, the greedy hunter had no intention of sending the cow back to the farm. Looking at the sturdy cow, the hunter felt he would definitely sell it for a good price. The hunter quietly raised his gun and aimed it at the unsuspecting cow. However, just as he was preparing to shoot, a wild wolf suddenly rushed out of the bushes. The hunter was startled by the wild wolf and he stood still, unsure of what to do. Although the hunter had seen many wild animals, it was the first time he'd come into contact with a fierce wolf at such close range. The hunter naturally knew the horror of the wild wolf, and at that moment many thoughts flashed through his mind. He tried to escape, but how could humans match the speed of a beast? If the wolves were disturbed, I'm afraid he wouldn't even have a chance to struggle. The wolf approached the hunter bit by bit, and the hunter felt unprecedented fear. He slowly retreated, hoping to distance himself from the wolf. However, the hunter realized that the wolf did not seem to have any intention of attacking him, because after a few steps forward, he stopped in place. Perhaps the wolf just wanted to let himself go. The hunter understood the thoughts of the wild wolf and immediately turned and ran away. Fortunately, the wild wolf, as he had guessed, did not come after him. The hunter successfully escaped from the forest and saved his life, but this experience also left a shadow for him. For a long time after that, the hunter dared not step into the forest again, for he was afraid of encountering the wild wolf again. In fact, there were no wolves in time. The cow would surely have been captured by hunters. Why would the wolves have saved the cow? It turned out that this wild wolf was a male wolf. Not long ago, its partner gave birth to 3 babies belonging to them. While the wolf couple were still immersed in the joy of becoming new parents, an accident occurred. A wolf cub was lost in the forest. By the time the male wolf discovered it, the cub had already passed away, and the male wolf could not bear the blow of losing the child. During this period, the male wolf had been in great pain. When the male wolf was wandering in the forest, he discovered the hunter preparing to kill the cow. Perhaps there was some sense between the animals. The male wolf sensed the cow was pregnant and thought of his own child. He didn't want the unborn child to die like this. Therefore, he decided to save the cow. And after driving away the hunter, the male wolf also left and didn't want to surprise the cow. Finally, Pedro successfully found the cow and brought it back to the farm. With this experience, the farm also stopped the feeding pregnant animals alone rule, and the cow returned to the herd. With the company of her family and Pedro, the cow successfully gave birth to a healthy cow treasure, which finally brought the matter to an end.